We are facing challenging times in South Africa. What's it going to take for trainers to maintain their profitability and success in going forward?
First of all, we need an increase in stakes. I mean, obviously with COVID, it's been a hell of a knock. But I do think the pools will pick up, and I do think they are picking up. And then again, you need the protocol to open up for exporting of horses. We're a country where the rand is very weak. China's opening up big. They look for horses from hot climates. Perfect shopping place for them, South Africa. So if they open up the protocol that you don't have to go through quarantine and take 9 months to get overseas, I think that'll open up for the breeders. And if the breeders do well, basically the trainers will do well, and it'll inject money into the game.
Garth, there was hardly a big race that you didn't win. You rode horses like Over the Air, Bush Telegraph, Elevation, Gatecrasher and Alistair. Were those the glory days for you in the saddle?
Yeah, you know, you want to win the big races, and obviously when they come along, those are the glory days. You know, 3 Julys, 3 Mets, the Summer Handicap, which was the Holiday Inns. I missed the Gold Cup. I ran second in the Gold Cup, but that's one that eluded me. But you know, the Guineas, the classics are the ones, the Guineas and the Derby, those are the nice ones to win. And obviously then you're associated with good horses.
You were also known as someone who could come from the back of the field and win a race. Did you have nerves of steel?
No, it's something that I had to teach myself. Peter Canema was the guy that I rode for 23 years, and he only gave me one instruction ever in my life. Never told me how to ride any horse. All he said to me when I was a kid, I was the Prince of Kunapom, don't run wide. And I would jump out from a 4-draw and think I'm going to get in, and the inside horses chase, and I'd be caught 3 wide. I'd come back and I'd say, I'm sorry. He said, my boy, this race is over, go get ready for the next one. And I just knew I had to learn somehow to get on that rail. And the easiest way to get on that rail was to miss the brake slightly, slip across, and then chase up on the inside. And very often it would be the wrong decision because the horses just in front of you might ease back the pace, and then you'd end up lost in a slow pace. So then you learn to ride from behind, because now the guys in front of you also know that they're going too slow, and they start to panic and move out. And then you've got to have nerves. You just sit and let the others make the mistakes, and then you slip up, and you turn for home, and you're only 4 or 5 lengths off the lead, and hopefully you can get to them. Often not, because of the slow pace, the front horses will sprint away from you, and you'll be flying at the finish. But in those cases, those horses can come back and run in 3 weeks' time, because you never really got to your top. Other than a horse that's been in front and then getting flogged to get to the line and falls over the line, that takes a lot out of a horse. So you just, it was basically something that was forced upon me, and it became the way that I rode.
What's the best skill a jockey can have?
Patience, good temperament and good hands, and obviously balance. I think that counts for all. And with that will come judgment of pace and those kind of things.
And a trainer?
Basically the same. I mean, obviously a lot more goes into training. You're dealing with clients, you're dealing with staff, you're dealing with animals. A lot of patience, if your clients allow you, and a good rapport with your horses, and obviously to keep on top of them. I think if you keep your horses happy, and obviously everyone has a different style of training, but basically horses will get there, whether it takes 1 or 2 runs to get to their fitness, or whether you work them hard enough on the track to get to their fitness. And different horses have different approaches. Some you can work hard enough because they've got good legs. Some you've got to mollycoddle them on the track and then race them sparingly and get them fit. But I think just knowing your horses.
What does Garth Pullyer do to kick back and relax?
I love wildlife. I love jumping in the car with Wendy and going off to a game farm and spending 2 or 3 days just driving around and looking at the wild animals. Being driven around. I prefer to be driven around and looking at the wild animals, yeah. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. I grew up with horses, and I love my quiet time. I spend the whole day at the stables. My best time is when the staff go home at 10:30, 11:15, and I can walk through that yard and look at every one of my horses, and they'll all come out and look for a bit of attention. That's all they're craving, and it's just wonderful to work with these wonderful animals.